NBA 2K25. Dave, when does it come out?
September 6th. I got that one.
Let's hear it. I haven't played a 2K game in a very long time. I honestly didn't know what I was looking for, to be honest. I got a lot of new things that they added, which I think is really cool. But in terms of like the overall, like, yes, this would be a great 2K, or is this another status quo, but in a good way? What did you find out?
I think one of the things we gotta look at here is like Madden's kind of known for being the same game every year. NBA 2K is literally like the poster child of being the same exact game every single year.
But they always make it feel good for the most part. There have been some that made some questionable decisions on how they handled the shooting animation and the release timer and things like that. But overall, I feel like they have a formula that fans actually really do love, and like the core aspect of 2K is much more well done than, let's say, Madden.
I 100% agree with you. I think that yes, this is the same game every year, but also yes, I think they have found a system that really works and the fans really do love. So it's just kind of the quintessential if it ain't broke, why fix it situation. You
And
know
I
what
think
mean?
here, let's kind of roll the trailer. This is kind of similar to
Yeah, we could just roll
Madden.
through.
We're just going to talk through it. Where they're expanding on what's working, and I think they're doing it in a way that actually makes sense. Where again, we talked about Madden recently, or just in our last couple games here. But what they're doing here is they have their formula that works, but they're also expanding on it to make it feel more realistic. And I feel like 2K has already felt more realistic in terms of the way things are in the game. But with this one, they're expanding the animations of the dribbling. So there's gonna be over 9,000 new animations, which includes 1,500 dribble animations, 1,100 shot animations, 1,300 new off-ball animations, so how they move off the ball, and 115 new signature motion styles, so how like a specific player moves as they would in real life. And I think that's really cool that they're expanding on something like that.
Yeah, and we, like we talked about, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I'm not. I will say, like, yes, they have a core audience that really loves what they've done with the game, and they do have a system that really works. But if we're gonna be 100% honest, it's not perfect.
No,
It's really not perfect. And I think a lot, like we talked about with Madden, I'm seeing them really try to initiate things that really fix that situation, and really it's a focus on gameplay. And I talk about this all the time. When it comes to sports games, you can put all the bells and whistles on it that you want, but at the end of the day, what you really need to improve on is the gameplay. People have to love the gameplay, because you can put entrance animations and music and all types of game modes and whatever you want in there. Eventually people are just going to smash the X button until they get into the game. That's all that's ever going to happen.
Right.
So fixing these gameplay mechanics or improving upon them, giving the feedback that players want, is really what you need to do if you want to grow a sports game, expand a sports game, get a bigger audience. And I think we've seen a lot that they're actually trying to do that. Graphics, we'll run through a couple things here. Adam already touched on a bunch of stuff, but pretty obvious graphics have been upgraded. That's fine. Not a huge deal. I think everybody looks great. I think everybody looks fine. Graphics look great.
I think 2K has done really well with that in general. Like, I just remember on the PS2 when like the commercials would come out, and then like they actually could see the sweat of the players. You're like, oh, this looks so realistic. And then you're playing the game, you're like, it's still so realistic. So I feel like that 2K has been ahead of the times on their graphics in terms of like their games.
Yeah, because 2K has always been kind of ahead of the curve. It's like, 2K was always kind of up here. They kind of put.
And then you look at like the EA version, NBA Live, and it's like, whoa, where's the huge gap? Like, how does that even happen? But it's so funny.
You're like, oh, you're on EA, and you're like, oh, LeBron doesn't even have a mouth.
Yeah, right. It's so funny. But keep going. Let's hear it.
One of the cool things that I thought that they introduced, if you take a look at we don't have a ton of gameplay clips, but if you look at the gameplay, you can see the new camera look. I think the new camera look looks smoother So I think it has a smoother vibe to it. One of the things I'm really excited about is the new shot meter. The thing with the new shot meter is instead of like the full bar, they're just gonna have an arrow that kind of goes up that you have to kind of time out and match with another arrow up at the top. It's gonna give you your
So
perfect.
with that, actually, it's gonna be customizable.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that.
Oh, sorry.
You just ruined it.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine.
I was excited to talk about it.
No, that's a good thing to be excited about because I think
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. But yeah, one of the things that I love about that is you're still going to get your perfects. But I think one of the things that's really cool is they give you the real time feedback. So instead of waiting to see what happens with the shot and then you kind of figure out, it gives you the real time feedback of perfect before it goes in the net, which I think is kind of key. I think defensive minded players, especially, are going to be able to adapt to that, right? Because if you know that you throw up a perfect shot, you can get back up on D quicker. So I think it's gonna allow you to kind of be a little bit more aggressive in your play style. So I like that they kind of switch that up. A lot like Adam said, they are going to switch up the timing here, so you can actually go into the settings and switch up the timing of this new shot meter. And the way that you're going to be able to do that is you can have like a high risk, low reward situation, or vice versa. Essentially, what you're doing is you're going to be able to pick the size of your green window. So how that all works, I don't know if you guys haven't played 2K. The way that it kind of works is you have this shot animation, right? And in the shot animation, if you green the shot animation, it's perfect, and anything besides a perfect ends up as a white, right? And based on where you hit these different progression tiers on the animation is your percentage of that shot going in. So like if you perfect it, I think the percentage is something like 94 to 100% it goes in. And then as you get further away from that perfect, you start having that percentage of it actually going in drop. And what's really cool about this is you can now kind of customize, do you want a larger green spot, right? So if you want a larger green spot, you can get the larger green spot, but you're going to sacrifice your whites, meaning that like if you want the larger green spot, if you don't hit the perfect, it's not going in. You know what I mean? But you have a larger window to make sure you get that perfect shot, or vice versa. If you're not as strong a player and you struggle a little bit with the shooting, you have your ability to lessen that green spot, right? But you have a greater percentage of those mistimed shots going in. So if they think it kind of levels the playing field for all players.
Definitely.
Was that what you were getting at?
It was where I was going with.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
okay.
to interrupt you,
No,
Dave.
no, you're good.
With more things kind of go off that is one of the things that they're really emphasizing as well is that this is going to be the biggest change in gameplay in 15 years, and that is the dribble engine. And so, which their whole idea with that is it's going to generate a more dynamic motion, which has like uses real NBA footage to create a more authentic feel in terms of like how you dribble, the dribble animations that you use, the combinations that you use them, and how you get around different players as they're defending you. It's supposed to feel more lifelike and 1-to-1 in terms of like how Steph Curry dribbles is going to feel like Steph Curry is dribbling the ball, not just an automatic animation of specific moves that everybody has, but more so it's going to feel like Steph Curry. It's going to feel like LeBron James. And I think that's really important to really drive that authenticity of NBA. And I think that's really cool. In the same
And not even just the authenticity of the dribble, it's the fluidity of the dribble too. So, if you're talking about how you actually dribble inside of 2K, right? You can kind of have this feel where it doesn't feel like you're dribbling. It feels like a bunch of stacked animations on top of each other. Like a sequence of pre-programmed animations, right? Is what it feels like when you're dribbling. It doesn't feel like you have that fluid control of being able to move around like you would actually being able to dribble a basketball. And what they're trying to get away from is giving you that ability to be more fluid, like you're actually dribbling instead of just moving down the court in a sense of like, okay, this is the animation of me, right-handed going to the right. This is my behind the back. This is my stutter step. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's like a jittery feel. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing and you're stacking all these animations together and your character's just kind of like jittering all over the place and you're like, that's so unrealistic. They're trying to bring a more realistic vibe to the dribble and more fluidity to kind of give it that like finesse, because basketball's finesse, right? It's a lot of slam dunks in your face, but it's a lot of also, finesse with the ball and being able to shoot. They're trying to give you that more realistic feel, and I'm super excited to see what they've done.
To expand on that even more, so one thing that they're kind of adding to that fluidity as well is what's called rhythm shooting. So stick rhythm shooting. So basically, it's how you control the ball that turns into a shot, like the fluid motion that you're dribbling, all of a sudden you're shooting, like the flow of that. I thought that was really cool. And then what I also thought was really cool, or what they're adding is, so you can kind of get out of a shot animation to go into something else. So like, yes, you can pump fake, but like, so I don't know if you like see how like sometimes you pump fake and you bring it down to a dribble. Like it's gonna have that feel to it too, where it's gonna feel more realistic in terms of I'm gonna make this shot, but oh, just kidding, I'm gonna dribble instead of just a generic pump fake. It's gonna feel like it would in real life, and I think it's really important to make it feel like you said more finesse, more fluid, and that's what they're doing with this new revamp of the dribble engine, which is called ProPLAY.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, the shot canceling is really cool to me. And again, it's more realistic in the game, right? So if you think about it when you're playing, if you go for like a step back, right, and then you see your defender start to press you, right, you're not gonna still put up that shot. You know what I mean? You're gonna take the step back and maybe go, stutter step right behind the back, something like that. You're not gonna take that shot, but in 2K, you were always locked into that. If you were to take that step back shot, you were locked into it, and you just get smashed on. Now you can cancel that. So again, more realistic. And again, I do love what you were talking about with the rhythmic shooting. This is optional, guys, so don't freak out here. You can turn this off and just keep this legit. But instead of just like hitting the square button, they're using the R stick where you're back and forth for the shooting. So like down on the R stick is pulled back, forward is going to be your perfect timing to put the shot up. If you're a fan of like the 2K golf games, you know this a lot. This is how you swing the club in 2K golf.
2K has had that in the past for a while, actually. That's how I always played the game. Is always the right stick for shooting. So
Yeah, and I like the way that they do that. And then the signature shot that you were talking about, where you're able to hold the R stick up. Basically, what's going to happen is you hold the R stick up, and it goes into a signature move that like is It's not customizable. It's specific for each player. So each player has their own move. So like Tatum can have that sidestep, right? But you hold that stick up, it moves into the Tatum sidestep and then automatically goes into the shoot animation, which I think is really cool. I think it's going to give you a lot more ability to kind of play the game as the players themselves, and is going to allow you to be much more aggressive.
really, and I think that's really cool. I just love 2K. If I love 2K, if we were to put, we have always said this, but 2K I think does things so well, and that's why I think they're a better game than Madden. And the things that they do, it's always trying to expand on their core, and they do it in a way that doesn't break the game every year. There has been a couple instances like where the shot meter was bad or things like that, but at its core, the game is always solid. And that's kind of a random note. But one more side note: we've talked a lot about an offense side of things. Defense, I've actually always wanted this. I don't know if it's been like this in recent games, but I always felt like the defense, if you're playing a player on defense, it's so like rigid and not very dynamic. Where with this new change to the defense is you'll get more dynamic change in like the direction of the defensive player with the right stick. Because I always thought like the right stick, like I felt like that should be the way to like jump inside, jump in front of the player, and they're gonna have this, and they'll be able to cut off like people driving to the lane, or and really be able to be more responsive laterally. And I think that's really cool and really important. Again, because I always thought like it should have been like that from when again, it's been a while since I played 2K, but I always felt like the defense was like so slow in like the way they would shuffle. It wasn't really ever like a jump over. It was always like a shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And like this, I feel like it's going to feel so much more again, the word I'm using is authentic, but I think that's where this is going to feel with that new change to the right stick.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. I think this was a needed addition to this game. There's nothing worse than playing defense and knowing exactly what your opponent is going to do and just not being able to stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna come up to the line. You're gonna fake drive. You're gonna fake drive, stutter step, and then back up and shoot the three with Steph. And there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that. It's like it's infuriating that I don't know. It's infuriating to know what your opponent's going to do and have no answer for it. And I think this, abilities with the R stick, being more aggressive, playing defense, being able to move more fluid and stuff like that, it's going to take away some of that, like, I don't want to call it broken offense, but like, yeah, like
being more offensive focused. Like the game is so offensive focused where this is going to help it for the people that want to make sure to try on.
Yeah, I'll just level the playing field a little bit. I feel like when you're playing these games, being aggressive, being offensively aggressive is way easier than being defensively aggressive. You know what I mean? And this is kind of leveling that playing field out.
Overall, they didn't show much on the franchise mode, but those things kind of expand. That's coming up actually. I think in the next couple weeks they're gonna have trailers and stuff on that.
I'm sure we'll get more info there. Yeah.
The AI gameplay has been improved, which that happens every year. They try to improve the AI, but they are making them more responsive, better spacing, better just overall better is the whole concept with the AI. Other than that, I don't have much else to say on the game. Yeah, I think I hit everything that I want to talk about. So I'm excited for this one. Maybe this is a year I get back into sports games because I haven't been playing them, but I don't know. We'll see because this one does look really good to me, and we'll just kind of go from there.
I'm super excited for this one. I think these changes are going to be great. The one last thing I want to talk about, Adam touched on this a little bit with the ProPLAY. The 9,000 new animations. This is going to be an incredible thing for the realistic feel of the game. Now, this isn't necessarily new to the 2K series. It's been introduced before. But last year they only did some players. You know what I mean? They only did kind of like big names to have these like authentic animations, a lot like we talked about with Madden with Lamar coming up to the line, touching the towel and stuff like that. They've done this for every player now. So every player has these personalized animations that really make it feel like it is that player that you're playing with at the moment. And I think that's really important just to the overall vibe. You know what I mean? Like LeBron's going to come in and be LeBron, but like, maybe you're a fan of, Anthony Davis, and like Anthony Davis didn't get the same treatment as LeBron, but this year he did. You know what I mean?
Or Lonzo Ball.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Lonzo.
I mean, this year he did, you know what I mean? So like all the players have these custom custom tailored animations to their game style, and I just think the game looks great. I'm super excited for it.
Me too. So let us know in the comments if you're super excited about this one. Let us know if we missed anything that's big that's changed on it, or if you're a true fan, you're like, no, it's the same as Madden. It feels the same every year. They say this is all going to change and it all feels the same. Let us know if you have that kind of thought. But overall, we're excited for it. We'd like to hear your thoughts too.
Let us know down in the comments. Again, this game will be dropping September 6th. Be on the lookout for some more trailers because I'm sure we will get some more information about it before it drops.